Good morning, everybody. Welcome to today's 1 million by 1 million rendezvous, online rendezvous for entrepreneurs around the world. 1M by 1M, as you know, is the first and only global virtual accelerator. And the world is in a very, very strange place today. So wherever you are, we want to convey to you our warmest greetings, and I'm really happy to see you here. The fact that we're all trying to preserve as much normalcy as possible in our lives right now, and in our work lives. Everybody, I hope, is working from home. You should not be going to work. Doesn't matter where you are, self-quarantine and working from home is the best solution, given what's happening in the world. I am coming to you live from Silicon Valley, and we are live at the moment on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter. And in Silicon Valley, we are going through, as of yesterday, 1 p.m., we have gone into a complete lockdown. There are a lot of cases here, and there is quite a lot of anxiety in the community. We are at 1 p.m. yesterday, there was an announcement that all non-essential businesses, except for food and pharmacy, are going to be closed. So small businesses in every community are going through hell. Restaurants, gyms, cafes, bars, all kinds of performing arts venues are closing their scheduled performances. So, I have to say, because my life is about working with small businesses and entrepreneurs, I deeply, deeply empathize with what all these different entrepreneurs are going through and how difficult it is at the moment. So today, what I'd like to do is first and foremost, try to maintain normalcy. And, you are hopefully working on your businesses regardless. Maybe there's disruption, maybe you're mentally distracted, but there is also tremendous comfort, tremendous peace, and tremendous calm in being able to maintain normalcy, in being able to do your daily routine of doing work. So at least that's how I feel. And we at 1 million by 1 million are trying to maintain as much normalcy as possible. And our program is entirely virtual. So in a way, maintaining normalcy is not that difficult for us, because in any case, we are live at 8 a.m. Pacific time on Tuesday mornings on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter. So that's what we are doing. That's why we are here. And we are going to cover a certain amount of entrepreneurship related content that are relevant and useful to entrepreneurs around the world. And absolutely, we would like to see questions. So whatever it is that you have questions about, by all means, go into the comments or discussion sections of whichever platform you're dialing in from, and type in your comments. After we finish the video interaction, I will go into the comment sections and interact with you further. And if you have comments that warrant longer answers, larger answers, I will take them and answer them later on. And if you have specific questions about your business strategy, whether it's financing strategy, positioning strategy, market segmentation, go-to-market strategy, whatever kind of questions you might have specific to your business, please go to our website, 1mby1m.com, go to the free public roundtables tab, and register to pitch at one of those sessions. And I will work with you specifically on your business strategy at one of those sessions. Those are WebEx calls. This one we are doing, live broadcast. This is not as much of an interactive pitch review session, but we do have online pitch review sessions that anyone from anywhere in the world can participate in, whether you are in Italy, stuck at home, quarantined, rightfully so, but you can still come join these sessions. If you are in any part of the US, any part of Europe, anywhere in the world, pretty much, it doesn't matter. You can use these sessions, and I will be happy to work with you. I'm always happy to work with you. In these times, I'm particularly happy to work with you because it helps to talk to people, and I'm very happy to be that, listening partner, brainstorming partner for you. So with that, let's go to our first question today. In today's session, I'm going to take a bunch of questions that we have collected and collated from our various touch points and answer a bunch of them. So the first question is a very time sensitive and time relevant question, which is, how do you keep your business moving in the age of coronavirus? And I think this question is on the minds of every single entrepreneur right now. So, there is no going around the fact that coronavirus looms over us, over everything we do right now. My primary guidance for all our entrepreneurs is that biz dev should go on. Business development has to continue. And, in our methodology, we in any case use a tremendous amount of online business development. So online, phone, content marketing, Zoom, WebEx, all of those channels are open to you. And the other thing that you should keep in mind is that people on the receiving end are also very open to those channels right now. Just like you as an entrepreneur, or we as entrepreneurs, I'm in the same boat as you, are looking for normalcy, looking for continuity, looking to keep things moving. People who are on the receiving end, whether people you're trying to sell to, you're trying to do partnerships with, investors, everybody is in the same boat. Everybody is trying to maintain normalcy. So the psychology of a desire for normalcy exists, and people are very open to doing the online touch points, connecting to the online touch points. There may be delays because everybody is also worried about their family. And, my husband wasn't feeling so great yesterday. And, of course we are worried. We are worried that he might have it. And maybe it's psychosomatic. I felt like I had a sore throat last night. This morning, I don't feel that I have a sore throat. But last night I did feel I had a sore throat. So maybe there's a lot of psychosomatic stuff. Maybe there is a non-coronavirus flu, but that's also dangerous because that weakens you and you're more susceptible to everything, to all the other risks. So, but despite all that, we want to sit down in front of the computer and feel like we're being productive, we're getting things done. So that is the psychology of the current environment. So let's try to, work with that psychology. For those of you who are premium members of the 1 Million by 1 Million program, or even basic members, you have access to our curriculum. In the curriculum, there's a Sales 2.0 methodology. So you go to the customer acquisition module of the curriculum and go study the Sales 2.0 methodology. It is largely an online business development methodology for B2B. So if you're doing a B2B technology startup, selling to other businesses, that is a very effective, proven methodology that we use all the time. And it is largely an online methodology. So you can implement that and you can keep conversations moving. Our roundtables, both free public roundtables and private roundtables that are members only, will keep going. You can come, we'll work on strategy, we'll work on positioning, all that needs to be done. So you can come as often as you wish to, and you're most welcome. So And we are, the only thing in our workflow, the only thing we have closed are the free in-person rendezvous that happen at Cafe Boroni in Menlo Park in Silicon Valley every other week. That's the only thing we have shut down because the restaurants here are closing, and we also don't think we should be, inviting people into crowded spaces right now. Other than that, we are completely accessible by email, by every single online touch point that are on our regular roster. So go to the website, look up the free public roundtable schedules, look up the online rendezvous schedules, and we will be here. We will be available by email if you're members, etc. So I'll go to a second question in a moment. The question is, if you're bootstrapping a startup, how do you handle heavily funded competitors? This is a question from last week's online rendezvous. So it's a very legitimate question. And there are always competitors who have been longer in the game and who are better funded. But it doesn't mean they will be the winners in the marathon. A startup is a marathon, not a sprint. Gobs of VC money never guarantees a startup success. A nimble upstart can beat a well-funded competitor with a superior strategy. And if you are following our, whether these broadcasts or our blog and so forth, I've written quite a lot about a phenomenon that is prevalent in our business called death by overfunding. One of the prevalent practices in the venture-funded startup world is that people are encouraged to spend lots of money. That is not the case at the moment. At the moment, VCs are advising their portfolio companies to stop spending too much money and hunker down, make the cash that they have last longer. But in normal times, VCs advise their startups to spend heavily, aggressively, raise more money, and quote unquote, move faster, grow faster. Now, this often creates situations where people are spending in unhealthy ways without the business actually building up sufficiently well. So in those situations, a bootstrap startup that is conservatively spending money and focusing on actually closing customers, closing business, generating cash, and so forth, and not investing ahead of itself, has greater sustainable power. So when this heavily funded startup that has been operating on very heavy burn rates hits a bump, and now we are in a bump phase, right? If you're a heavily funded startup with heavy burn rate and hitting a heavy bump like coronavirus is one such bump, you are in a better position if you're a bootstrap startup with a habit of conserving cash and being very frugal. The startup that has a culture of overspending and heavy spending is going to have a very hard time raising money in these circumstances, and quite possibly will go out of business. I don't wish it for anybody to go out of business. It's heartbreaking to have a startup that you've put your heart and soul into to go out of business. But this is why I always recommend, that you shouldn't go into these heavy burn rate scenarios unless the business is coming in. Unless you're closing deals, unless you're closing customers, heavy overspending without validation, without traction is not a good way to build businesses, in my opinion, but it happens. And that is actually, for a bootstrap startup, that is kind of the winning strategies. If you can maintain capital efficiency, maintain nimbleness, and that gives you runway, that gives you sustainability. So, as I said earlier, keep your business development going, whether you're a bootstrap startup or a venture-funded startup or whatever. Keep your business development going. Try to move the funnel forward. move the deals in the funnel forward, get things to the next step. The kind of business development we do in B2B in particular, especially we're all working with complex technology, complex concepts, requires a lot of education. A lot of that market education happens either on one-on-one basis with your customers or one-to-many basis through content marketing. We are really good at content marketing. If there's one thing you should learn from 1 million by 1 million, just by observing how we do what we do, content marketing is something we do really well. And that is educating the market through newsletters, through LinkedIn content, through blog content, through Facebook, Twitter. We do a tremendous amount of great content marketing. And that is something that has absolutely no need to stop. People are glued to their computers right now. They're glued to their phones. So you have their attention. You can catch them. You can give them content that they find value in. If you have if you think that you are solving problems of a particular segment of the market, prepare content, create content, speaking to that market, publish content, and get that mind share, get that resonance going. Mind share is really hard to get. So the more mind share you can get, the more you can move your agenda forward. And that basically is the strategy for bootstrap startups competing with heavily funded startups. And at the moment, startups looking for a lot of funding are going to hit some problems because there's going to be delay. There's going to be time, lags before people feel comfortable writing big checks, because you can see what's happening in the stock market, right? It's a bloodbath. I don't even look at my portfolio on a daily basis because it's depressing. But at the same time, I'm not completely worried either, because I feel strongly about the investments that I have. And at some point, this pandemic is going to be over, and the market is going to start coming back, and so on and so forth. China's stock market has started to come back. So it is a matter of time, but you have to survive those tough times. And that is runway, that is cash. And that is where a bootstrap startup that has a frugal culture is at a tremendous advantage over a company that has the habit of overspending. Okay, I'll take another question. The next question is, when should you quit when you're bootstrapping with a paycheck? So, bootstrapping with a paycheck is very much part of our methodology. We have studied bootstrapping extensively, and we have identified bootstrapping with a paycheck as one of the key creative bootstrapping methodologies. So we, unlike most accelerators who would ask you to quit your job, we don't do that. We actually want you to do a certain amount of bootstrapping with a paycheck because bills need to be paid. So, if you have a job and you can do things nights and weekends and start validating your concept and so forth, we prefer that because it gives you a bit of a peace of mind. It's a lot of work. What it does is creates a tremendous amount of workload because you have a day job and you're doing bootstrapping with a paycheck. But especially in times like this, that's a big blessing that you have a paycheck, because otherwise you would be really desperate and really scared because you're not ready, you don't have things validated, you don't have revenue flowing in yet, and yet it's going to take longer before that happens. So having a paycheck is very helpful. So the question then is, when should you quit while you're bootstrapping with a paycheck? My answer to that is it's a personal choice that depends on your life circumstances. But at the minimum, you should definitely validate your business, your idea, and determine whether it's going to generate money. Talk to customers, make sure they're buying, And keep in mind that most venture capitalists will not fund you until you're running your business full time. Before you go out to raise money, you're going to need to quit your day job if you are going to go the venture capital route or even angel capital route. But there is nothing preventing you from talking to customers and understanding their pain points, understanding what they're looking for in a solution while you have your job. Understanding how much are they willing to pay, what is the scope and scale of the problem that they're facing, the pain they're facing. And all those can be done while you're bootstrapping with a paycheck. The only thing that cannot be done is raising institutional money or even raising angel money. Raising friends and family money is possible while you're bootstrapping with a paycheck. So there's actually a long way you can go before you need to actually quit your job. And we kind of lean in the direction of being conservative than being, hyper risk prone, just because there are many ways that things can go wrong. And while entrepreneurship is about risk taking, it is also about risk mitigation and trying to maximize your probability of survival. You have to survive to be successful. There's a related question that I will answer on this topic, which I'm sure is coming to your mind, which is, should bootstrapping employees tell their bosses about their side businesses? So the answer is, a lot of people are actually disclosing, and the bosses are quite fine with it. In the tech industry, employees are encouraging employees to become more entrepreneurial. So it's considered a plus, not a minus. Now, we are working with companies, for example, with Oracle, we did 6 years of their intrapreneurship program, which is their corporate incubation program. And that tells us that employers are asking employees to become entrepreneurial, and they're calling it intrapreneurship. So corporations are actually, depending on what your idea is and what domain you're working in, if it's aligned strategically with your employer's business, they may be willing to incubate your idea, give you resources, give you money in exchange for a piece of the company, and give you, a platform to incubate your idea within your employer's business. So if you feel uncomfortable, if your life situation, for example, is not one where you want to take this kind of risk right now, maybe you have a new baby, or you have young children, or if you have elderly parents that you need to take care of. There are many situations in life or phases in life when you don't really want to take the kind of risk that entrepreneurship entails. If you are in such a situation, intrapreneurship may be a very good way to, employ your creative juices and learn how to bring a product to market, learn how to validate an idea, learn how to bring a product, sell a product idea to investors. In this case, you would be selling to your employers, the management of your employers, but that's okay. It's not so different. Building a business case for a new product is not that different between selling it to your employer and selling it to your investor. It's not that different. So there's a lot of learning that you can do, and maybe, 5 years down the line, 3 years down the line, when your situation is more conducive to taking entrepreneurship risks, you can then go do a company of your own. So bootstrapping with a paycheck, intrapreneurship, these are concepts that you should keep in mind, and they are good ways to tiptoe into full-time entrepreneurship, full-time self-employment. Related question, how do you do this without angering your employer? As I said, employers generally don't get angry, but there are situations where they would get angry. If you start something unrelated that doesn't encroach upon your employer's business, they're not going to worry. They're not going to get angry. If you do not encroach on your day job, if you start ignoring your day job and not fulfilling your daily commitments, that's unethical, and that is going to legitimately annoy employers. But if, as long as you maintain your ethical boundaries, employers are actually very, very tolerant. I'm going to switch gears a bit and talk about a trend that we're tracking very, very seriously. It is the PaaS trend, platform as a service trend. And the question is, are there any indicators of the growing importance of PaaS? The answer is there is, and I'll talk to you with a case study. So Salesforce was dominating the news right now. The news is dominated by coronavirus, but just about maybe a couple of weeks ago, Salesforce was dominating the news. They had an outstanding quarter, and they delivered a major news, which is they were acquiring a company called Velocity for $1.3 billion. I had actually predicted this acquisition. If you look up, there is a question that I had posed. There is an article that I wrote on should Salesforce buy Velocity. Velocity was founded in 2014 by former Siebel and Viva Systems co-founders, Craig Ramsey, David Schmeier, James Ramsey, Mark Arminante, and Young Son. Velocity was focused on the principles that best customer experiences are industry-specific and omni-channel. While Salesforce took care of the omni-channel segment of this requirement, Velocity focused on catering to the industry-specific segment. As part of this focus, Velocity developed vertical-specific solutions that embedded digital omni-channel processes for customer-centric industries. It built on the Salesforce.com, Force.com platform to build industry-specific solutions for the communications and media, energy and utilities, health, insurance and financial services, and government and nonprofit sectors. Velocity was privately held until the acquisition, and they raised $163 million in 4 funding rounds from investors including Bessemer, Accenture, Salesforce Ventures, New York Life Investment Management, Sutter Hill, TDF, Wildcat Venture Partners, and Kennett Partners. Its last round of funding was held in 2019. It raised $60 million at a valuation of over $1 billion. Velocity has not disclosed its financials, but analysts estimate that it was trending at an annual revenue run rate of $160 to $170 million for the year ending January 2020. So it's a legitimate unicorn that has a very legitimate valuation, very legitimate revenue numbers, very legitimate customers. They have very interesting customers. Salesforce believes that Velocity's verticalized offerings will help it double its TAM. TAM is total available market. In my view, Velocity's acquisition will help Salesforce deliver on a vertical focus strategy. Vertical cloud is a big trend, in my opinion. Salesforce has taken steps in that direction earlier when it aligned its senior management and sales strategies towards verticals. But the acquisition is also a living example of why I'm so excited about the platform as a service model. Like Velocity, other platform companies can benefit from opening their cloud-based platforms to developer networks worldwide. Actually, like Salesforce, not like Velocity. Velocity built on that platform. Salesforce Path has allowed companies like Velocity to develop industry-specific solutions. Its App Exchange marketplace has empowered them to attract customers within these industries and to build sustainable businesses that translate to billion-dollar valuations and exits. Viva, now a multi-billion-dollar public company, is a case in point. Velocity, in many ways, is a perfect acquisition for Salesforce, easy to integrate because it is built on the Salesforce technology and perfectly aligned business-wise. Over the past few years, Salesforce has made big acquisitions. This one is another example. And I think every single company that is following a PaaS strategy is going to acquire heavily from their PaaS marketplaces. So if you are a small startup on the other side of the equation, you should go look up my writings on bootstrapping by piggybacking. You should go bootstrap by piggybacking on somebody else's platform. It's a great strategy. And that is going to basically put you in somebody else's ecosystem who has large footprints, a lot of customers, and you will have leads, customer leads through that marketplace. And when time comes for exit, you are likely to find a good exit relatively seamlessly into that platform company that is looking to broaden their portfolio of products. So go look up my bootstrapping by piggybacking writings, and that will give you great pointers on this. I'm going to go to the last question today, which is how can I get feedback from you on my venture? Well, I'm one of the most accessible people in the world today, as far as entrepreneurship mentoring is concerned. Anyone from anywhere in the world can reach me on a weekly basis. So multiple times a week if you're a member of our program, once a week if you're not, maybe twice a week through these as well as through our mentoring roundtables. 1M by 1M offers free online virtual mentoring roundtables for entrepreneurs looking to discuss positioning, financing, and all other aspects of building a startup venture. Up to 5 entrepreneurs who registered to pitch for a particular session will be able to pitch their businesses in that session. They will gain straightforward feedback, advice on next steps, and answers to questions from me, as well as from my frequent guests who are CEOs and VCs, experienced entrepreneurs, as well as investors. You should go to the website, 1mby1m.com, go to the free public roundtables tab, and you can register to attend, to listen, learn, and join in on the conversations via live chat. If you register, you will also receive the recording by email the next day. The next public roundtable, free public roundtable, is on Thursday, March 19th, and the one after that is Thursday, March 26th. These are 8 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time events. So please convert that into your time zone and figure out when you need to show up. These are done by WebEx. So virtual. And those who register to pitch will receive instructions on the preparation required, including a roundtable slides pitch template. We also recommend you use the 1M by 1M self-assessment test to help prepare for the pitch. Go to the website, it's available for free, the self-assessment tool. Many entrepreneurs interested in pitching have first expanded their knowledge of the essential components of building a startup by joining the basic program, 1M by 1M Basic. Again, there's a tab on that on the website. Look it up, it's our curriculum-only program. So if you study the curriculum and use the self-assessment tool and the curriculum together side by side, you will actually make a lot of progress on your own before you come to talk to me. And that's also a very legitimate way of getting started, especially if you have no entrepreneurial experience. If this is your first startup, the learning curve is tremendously steep. So you've got to learn somehow. And this is a very efficient way of learning what you need to learn. So go check out the tools that we have, resources that we've offered you. 1M by 1M Basic, 1M by 1M Premium is our full acceleration program. You are welcome to join one or the other, no problem, your choice, or continue using the free resources that we offer. Everything is virtual, so absolutely no disruption due to coronavirus in our business at the moment. Note, we only work with we work exclusively with IT and IT-enabled services businesses. We don't do clean tech, we don't do pharmaceutical drug discovery, we do not do solar panels and so on and so forth. So there are limits to businesses to which we can be helpful, But our world of technology entrepreneurs, technology-enabled services entrepreneurs, we are completely and fully equipped to help you. So that's it. And remember, though, if you're coming to the free public roundtables, those sessions are not private. They are public. Recordings are available on our YouTube channel and available to the world. So if you have concerns about privacy, please join the premium program and not sign up for a free roundtable. You shouldn't be so concerned about privacy, by the way. I'm not a believer in being so concerned about privacy, because if you if you are concerned about privacy, we're almost done. If you're concerned about privacy, you should remember one thing, that you will have to go public with your business when you get to the market. And you don't have a choice on that. So you should not choose an idea that is so easy to copy that you need to be terrified about privacy all the time. Remember or assume right from the bat that you are going to be publicly out there in the market, and you should have defensible barriers built into your business so that people can't easily copy your idea. With that, I'm going to sign off for today. This is Sramana Mitra, founder and CEO of 1 Million by 1 Million. My message to you at the end of this session is, these are tough times, but remain steady, maintain continuity, keep doing your biz dev little by little, keep putting one foot before the other, and these times would pass. Tough times always pass. I've been through many cycles. I've been in this industry for a long time. The first major crash that I saw was the dot-com crash. I was the CEO of a startup at the time. Our business crashed as well. I had to work through that. I was around on 9/11, 2011, when the terrorist attacks hit the US. Business came to a standstill after that for a while. Nothing was happening. The 2008 financial crisis was another one that I have lived through. So yes, it's terrifying. Yes, it's very concerning, very scary, etc. But this too will pass. Remain kind, remain supportive of your friends, family, and let them be supportive of your anxieties, your mental health. And this too will pass. And I hope we can be of help to you while you are looking for support virtually. See you soon. Bye, everybody.